You guys are live.
Good morning and welcome to another webinar in our monthly series. Today we're very blessed with some really influential guests, and the title of our webinar today is going to be From Traffic to Value, Building a Smarter, More Transparent iGaming Affiliate Ecosystem. With me today is Danielle Medjit from iConvert, Brendan from Routy and IGMC, and of course, Joe Hatch from Nuviz. Can you please very quickly introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do? Danielle, start please.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like Jeremy said, I am Danielle from iConvert. At iConvert, we are, in a nutshell, a technology provider, and we monitor what user behavior is on operator sites, so we can determine where players are dropping off, and then we work with the operators to try and tackle this. So we have a few different ways of noticing when the players are dropping off, and yeah, we work with businesses, consultants to all try and work together to try and solve those problems between the click and the deposit.
Fantastic. Brendan, please.
Hi, I'm Brendan. I'm working currently at Routy as head of commercial. We are a traffic tracking tool and enhanced BI for publishers. We help publishers basically understand their traffic sources and help them with everyday marketing relating affiliation, tracking, data aggregation, so all the 9 yards. Also, I'm the co-founder at iGaming Marketing Circle, which is basically an events organization for networking events specifically on marketing specific. And yeah, that's me.
Joe.
Awesome. Good morning. I'm Joe Hatch, VP of Product at StatsDrone and Nuviz. We are stats aggregation tools and data visualization platforms for data alerting and reporting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So the question is for all of you. The iGaming affiliate landscape has evolved significantly in recent years. What is the biggest change you are seeing today, and how is it impacting the way the industry approaches growth? Let's go in reverse order, starting with Joe Hatch, please.
Yes, definitely over the last couple of years, there have been significant changes, especially on the data side. I think the individuals and companies are becoming more aware of the amount of data that is available. So it's no longer just treating an FTD or a conversion as the end of the funnel and then handing off the operations to the operator, or it's more about trying to own your own data to follow the entire flow and have that attribution across the entire pipeline.
Thank you. Brendan?
Yeah, so from my point, unfortunately, I see this significant change in terms there is the lack of new publishers getting into the market, and it's basically because to get into the industry there has to be either investment or capital, and even that it's not a guaranteed thing if you're going to start your own SEO asset or even run campaigns, so it's much harder for new publishers to get in. I'm seeing it as more of the guys that already have investments or are making revenue buying other companies, so traffic sources are becoming a bit more scarce in that sense. And unfortunately, we're in a stage where, yes, data is such a big fundamental now that the big publishers are using it more and more. So as growth goes, they're focusing more on the data point, that making the most they can from an FTD instead of just pushing volumes and just trigger CPAs.
Thank you. Danielle?
Absolutely. I mean, completely agree with what both the guys said. I think that one of the massive shifts has been because of changes in regulations all globally. There's been a massive focus on what happens between the click and the deposit. So it's not necessarily just a volume game anymore. Operators are really trying to understand what's happening in the middle to see where that drop off is, to just try and get the most out of their money, and that's where a lot of it is kind of evolving, and they're trying to understand that a lot more.
Yes, and from my perspective, the biggest change I'm seeing today is that there's a lot of operators, a lot of new people coming in on the market, and not everybody thinks past the creation of the site stage. So I'm meeting people who are, shopping for Affnook, for an affiliate tracking platform, and then they're okay to get the platform, but then they don't know what the next step is. How do I acquire players? And to me, this is the biggest challenge, is getting the players. It's not setting up the site, because you pay an iGaming platform provider X amount of money. You tell them you want it blue colored, with this, that feature, with this bell, that whistle, and it's not an issue to create the site. But the problem is, what's the next step? And many people, for example, who make money in other industries, think they can just create a site and make money and print, whether it's a sweeps or this or that, or, we can print money and life is easy. But the real work starts the day you go live. It's not the creation of the site. That's my opinion. All right. Next question, Danielle. From your experience working with operators and partners, what are operators really looking for from their affiliate partners today beyond registrations and FTDs?
Absolutely. I think there's three big things that are kind of happening here. So one being that they're really looking for players that are going to stay. I think this has really shifted from being a volume market to really looking for those players that are going to be staying on that site, loyal to that particular operator. There's also been a big change in them looking for visibility in what happens after the click, like I said previously. So understanding what players are actually doing and where they're dropping off, because operators are spending such a large amount of their marketing budget and money on getting those players in. Obviously, they want to be converting them as much as possible. And ultimately, when they fall off, that's where they're losing a lot of the players, and obviously where they're leaking the money. And operators are also looking for partners who act a lot more like an acquisition team rather than just completely transactional. Ultimately, we're all working towards the same goal. So I think a lot of operators now are looking for partners from affiliates, any form of partners that they're working with, that they actually want to work together and create completely meaningful partnerships where they can work together, share data with each other, understand where these players are coming from. So what platform they've come from the affiliates, what traffic source, and then from the operator side, okay, well, what traffic sources worked better? Having that open relationship is what they're really looking from their partners, for their affiliates to go, okay, well, we've done some testing and this landing page works best, and it works best when they hit this offer straight away, or it works better when they hit their homepage from this traffic source, and then the operator reciprocates in the same way back as well.
Fantastic. Next question is for Brendan. Strong partnerships are at the core of affiliate growth. What do you believe makes an affiliate partnership successful and sustainable over the long term?
So at the moment, we're seeing, again, with the lack of traffic sources being pure PPC and SEO, I think the funnels are built multi-touch at this point. Example, an SEO website would be doing their own PPC campaigns or streaming or any other sorts to build their SEO asset. So if you're looking after the last click, the source is a bit mixed. It's not actually pure SEO anymore. So going to operators and discussing the funnel, how it's built and where the clients are generated, that's already an upfront kind of discussion to tell them where you're getting the sources exactly. And obviously the operator have to understand that certain sources might have certain different behaviors on how they deposit, how they are active on the casinos and sports books. So the communication between parties is understanding the sources and making sure that obviously the affiliate is going to get paid for the source that he's sending. Again, there are these conditions where obviously there is fraud traffic, there is bonus abusers. These things happen, but it always has to be that communication where these FTTs are good, these are not, and then go on from there. The open line of communication will always build a strong long-term relationship.
Thank you. Joe, data plays an increasingly important role in affiliate marketing. What are the key metrics or insights that affiliates and operators should be paying more attention to today?
That's a great question, and I think it builds nicely on what both Danielle and Brendan have just said about the attribution and the funnel. So, an FTD or a conversion or a deposit isn't necessarily the end of the funnel. It's about long-term sustainability and the traffic source, as well as the conversion and the lifetime value from the operator side. So, transparency in just open communication is very important. So if you're not aware, for example, that an operator might be A/B testing one of their landing pages, you might be making optimizations as an affiliate that could be directly conflicting. You might not be aware that your changes are, diminishing or growing because the changes are also happening on the operator side. But it's actually about tracking more, not just a click and a conversion or a sign up anymore. It's also about ensuring that you have individual attribution where you can. So first party data, email addresses, personalization, understanding that a user has a specific behavior that cannot just be grouped to a landing page or to a specific traffic source. And having the visibility of that from both the affiliate and the operator side really helps to increase the value of the players, make sure that they're finding what they want and that they're staying and playing.
Thank you so much. So we've got a common question here. Now, transparency remains a major challenge across the affiliate ecosystem. Where do you see the biggest gaps between operators, affiliates, and technology providers, and how can they be addressed? Can we start with Danielle, please?
Absolutely. In my opinion, I think the biggest transparency gap is in the data. We are all working in the same point. We're all working in the same funnel, but we're just working at completely different points of it. So I think that at the moment, each different part of the funnel, so whether you're an operator, affiliate, or technology provider, or anybody that works in the same funnel, we're only seeing our slice of the data, but I think we're all working towards the same thing. So we're all looking at the same player, but we're just seeing it at different points. And obviously, we can't share every single bit of data, but I think if we're all looking at the same thing, if we were all a lot more transparent, and there's a lot more visibility on the data, even just from looking at key points where those players dropped off, for example, we'd all be able to work together to kind of figure out the solutions.
Thank you. Brandon?
So I think Joe will even agree with this to a certain degree. So from our side as a tracking tool, we communicate between the software provider that provides the affiliate management, like my affiliates, Referon, Sell Expert, and then obviously we communicate as well with the operator to integrate certain API and post-back tracking. So the situation we're seeing is either the operators might not be working on a platform that supports certain features like API, post-back, and click tracking, or they are not enabling it from the management tool because they can support it. So the other situation we're seeing is the click tracking, sometimes it's not accurate to what the operator is giving in terms, maybe their sensitivity on the clicks is much higher. Example, they filter unique clicks, bot clicks, even more. But then it puts you in a position where the affiliate as publisher sending clicks, you would say, okay, then why is my 700 clicks only registering 10 clicks? So there is these kind of discussions where why is certain data is not being the same in some aspects. And the reason for it is because some publishers would need this accuracy in data to understand how their certain campaigns are running. So there has to be accurate data points without this kind, or even saying why these have been dropped off, why these are not considered into the program. So there has to be more understanding what's blocking off the clicks.
Fantastic. And Joe?
I agree.
Thank you.
No, like Brendan said, yeah, it's essentially about different parties owning different, aspects of the funnel, like Danielle said as well. So you've got the operator owning most of the downstream player data. You've got the affiliate owning a lot of the acquisition data. Tracking platforms and affiliate software sits somewhere in between. And you end up with organizations that are trying to optimize the same commercial relationship with different data sets, which makes surprisingly even easy questions, or they should be easy questions, difficult to answer. So is the tracking working? How is the commission calculated? Has something changed historically? Why has revenue dropped? What performance issues are there? Like, it becomes very difficult to answer that because you don't have full insights of, you know, everything that's happening with that one same player down different parts of the funnel. So it doesn't necessarily mean that transparency has to be exposing individual personal player data, but at least having a better shared management system where you can, you know, speak the same language, have the same definitions, like Brendan said, clicks, unique clicks, filtering out bot clicks. Having that visibility across all of the platforms and available to all of the parties makes a big difference just in asking the basic questions.
Thank you so much. So the next question is, transparency remains a, no, this is the one we just did, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So the industry is traditionally focused on clicks, registrations, and FTDs. Are we moving towards a model where player quality and lifetime value matter more than simply driving volume? Shall we start with Danielle?
I 1000% agree. I actually think we've kind of already started the shift. I think we're already in it. I think that specifically with changes in regulations, like if we look at what's happened in the UK with the changes in regulations this year, I think that operators are having to shift their mindset because it's how they're making more money out of the players. And I think that when they're looking for the quality traffic, previously in affiliate, if you had a 30% reg to FTD, you'd be thinking, oh, great, you know, that's decent. But now operators are looking for, okay, well, what happened to that 70% that actually left? Where are they going? When are they falling off? What could we have done? Because even if they're paying for all of these players to come in, but then nothing's happening to them. So they are just trying to squeeze the most out of they can, especially purely, I think, massively driven by the changes in regulations recently.
Sorry, and just to piggyback on that, Danielle, from my understanding, iConvert provides a service whereby you can either find out why they left or encourage them to remain as part of the iConvert product offering.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Which is why we've seen it massively ramp up recently. I think that operators are really trying to, when those players come in, naturally they've already paid for those players a lot of the time. So they're really trying to even just not get them to leave. So iConvert understands when a player is going to exit, whether they're coming in with very low intent or they're intending, but they haven't finished they've got to the registration form, but they didn't deposit. So it understands where they've fallen off and then nudges them to come back, which is why we're having those sorts of conversations all the time now.
Fantastic. Brendan?
So this is a bit of a situation, right? Because operators, I can see where they want to have the best quality as possible, but as a publisher and affiliate, you have to introduce another layer to your funnel, right? You have to build a CRM or something to understand the client level of as quality goes. Because when you're running campaigns, let's say PPC campaigns, you're not targeting people on certain quality perspectives. You're targeting on keywords, right? So you don't actually, you're trying to target high quality keywords, but essentially you don't know what you're sending completely unless you have an eye on the user level as well. So for a publisher, it is still kind of a volume game in a way, and hoping you hit a good quality player from the data that the operator is giving you. Again, unless you have a CRM system that you're targeting or capturing emails, phone numbers, and you have an actual database of users, then you can resell it as a package to the operator. Say, hey, I have these high quality email lists that I can send you to your brand. But as a publisher, he has to be a bit more advanced because he has to build another layer. So I agree, it's a good thing to be on the quality side, but as a publisher on the basic level, I think it's still a volume game in some ways.
Thank you. Joe?
I would say, you know, how are we defining quality? What is quality? And that's going to change based on every relationship, every commercial partnership that you have, right? So when we say quality, when we say volume, they're not out of the box metrics that people understand. You know, 100 FTDs, 1,000 FTDs, 1 million FTDs, you know, could be quantified differently by different people and different campaigns. So, you know, it's about understanding what quality and volume is to your model and to your partner's models, making sure that those are in line with each other and that you're speaking the same language. Because if you're an affiliate and you send 100 FTDs, that isn't necessarily better than another affiliate who's only sending 30 FTDs, but those 30 are staying longer and depositing more frequently and generating significantly more long-term value. So again, like the previous questions, I think the problem is more on the measurement side as opposed to, you know, the specific data points, but having a combination of all of the available data and applying not just the data, but the context.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, technology and AI, right? AI automation and advanced analytics are rapidly changing performance marketing. How do you see these technologies reshaping the iGaming affiliate ecosystem over the next few years? And let's do it in reverse order this time, starting with Joe.
Yeah. So there's a few different pieces of that puzzle that keep moving, right? So automation is becoming a lot simpler, especially with, you know, tools like AI being able to build pipelines and to ingest data. The automation removes the repetitive operational part of the work, which is, you know, collecting reports and reconciling data and monitoring accounts and producing reports and things like that. And then AI becomes more interesting because it's also, how do we interpret the data? So obviously, when we're using tools correctly, it's a big advantage. If we're not using them correctly, it becomes very difficult to check. So we can't always blindly, you know, plug in a report and say to ChatGPT, what does this mean? Obviously, you need to make sure that the framing and the actual data underlying that is correct and accurate. And obviously, it starts off with, it can only be as good as the underlying data and your understanding of the data. So Brendan probably will agree with this, you know, as tools and platforms that give you access to reporting, it's almost like going to IKEA and buying flat pack furniture and then not having the manual included, right? Because we can give you access to more data, but if we're not providing context and value, as well as, you know, what to do with those data, turn that into insights, it doesn't give you more. It doesn't give you a better understanding. It just gives you more noise.
Okay, Brandon.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with Joe, because that's the thing, right? It's not that transparent sometimes. It's you get access to some data, okay, but you have to understand how to translate it better to make performance-based decisions on them, right? It's a bit of another Pandora's box sometimes, because you end up talking for hours on it. But what I seen as well for the AI automation side is performance marketing is a use case where, example, you're running multiple campaigns, and if you're receiving feed that there's no conversions from one, it automatically shifts the traffic to go to another retargeting that is trying to convert players. So the automation side is becoming smarter. The other issue that I'm seeing on the affiliation side is AI is creating this ecosystem on the SEO side. Multiple websites get replicated constantly on a daily basis, which is a problem and not, because there's a lot of satellite websites now, and it's a situation that SEO is becoming more agile. It's super fast. If you're not quick on it, you might lose timing. So it's very competitive. Where this can go, I hope Google sees that there's a lot of kind of repetitive websites and start curating them a bit more, so that Google can focus more on the quality than the quantity versus the satellite site. So yeah, that's my understanding on this section.
Thank you.
I totally agree with what they both just said. I think that from my side, I see it as a lot of, we can do a lot more like continuous optimization now. Previously, before kind of utilizing AI a lot more, you would have to wait a few days to kind of realize where something broke or where something went wrong. But there's a lot of AI tools now that a lot of affiliates and partners in the funnel are using to be able to continuously optimize and be able to see data in like real time, instead of having to wait for the 3-day post backs and whatever to come in. Things are pulling through a lot quicker. So, and I think this kind of does link back quite a bit to we're not necessarily volume chasing anymore. I think a lot of partners are using this optimization, real-time optimization, to the players they're paying for, to really understand them and make sure that they're sending them to the right place, rather than just obviously having to send as much volume as possible and then learning about it 3 days later.
Thank you so much.
Also, just to jump in, because I think a good point here. AI is changing how the users look at stuff. You don't hear people say, let's Google this. Everyone just goes and asks ChatGPT nowadays, or another AI. So when you're building a website, you have to think how to rank on the AIs as well. It's not just ranking on Google or search optimization.
This is the secret to the future. Totally what I was thinking.
So it changed a lot of user behavior in this case, because again, not hearing the person, let's Google it anymore, it's a big shift on marketing perspectives. And it's going to keep getting more towards it in the long run. So AI is where you have to optimize your sources as well, so they rank on it.
I'm surprised there isn't a new department in all, affiliates, which is, ChatGPT optimization expert. So it's no longer SEO, it's CPT, SEO, or whatever the hell we just said.
There are roles for that now, which are becoming more popular. One of the things that we've done with, not to be promotional, one of the things that we've done with Nuva's platform is actually having that differential split out, where you can start seeing traffic not only by source, which would be traditionally paid and organic, but we're also seeing now the new Google reports have also by LLMs. So you are starting to see traffic coming in from different LLMs, and you're actually able to start attributing them.
Yeah, I think I've seen this also. I don't use SEMrush anymore, but I think I went on SEMrush to check a particular site about a week ago, and I saw that it ranks even ChatGPT as opposed to Google now. I think maybe I just dreamt it. All right, before we get to the last question, I have a question from the audience on our YouTube stream. All right, I don't see the username, but here's the question, okay? As the industry shifts from FTD volume towards player quality and LTV, how do you see advertisers and affiliates aligning on a common definition of a high-quality player? And which metrics do you think will become the new industry standard?
I'm really sorry, I can't hear Jeremy.
Shall we try it again? All right. As the industry shifts from FTD volume towards player quality and lifetime value, how do you see advertisers and affiliates aligning on a common definition of a high-quality player?
If you want, I can jump in on this one. Oh, she disconnected.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so this is a tough one, because again, example, when I see campaigns being run by affiliates, the high quality one would be redeposits, or they're depositing more than the payout. That's can be considered as a high quality, but there is so much control you have right on the audience yourself as a publisher. You can try to ask them to play again on this website, like recommend this website again, but there is such a limited kind of control on the player behavior you have as a publisher. But that is maybe the wording line that we need to figure out between the operators and affiliates, if redeposits and hitting the payout in volume and deposits might be worth as high quality.
Joe, any opinion, or should we get to the next question?
No, I mean, I agree. And I don't think there's just going to be a one-size-fits-all answer. I think as we understand better on both the advertiser and the publisher side, I think that definition becomes more fluid in terms of what high quality and value is. Although it would be nice to break it down into having more. It would be nice to have more definitions of what the specific terms are. So what an FTD is, what an NRC, NDC is, because they're used differently across the board.
Thank you so much. Here's another quick question from the audience. With regulation becoming stricter, do you see compliance affecting the economics and scalability of affiliate businesses? Let me repeat that again for Danielle, in case you didn't hear me. With regulation becoming stricter, do you see compliance affecting the economics and scalability of affiliate businesses?
I definitely believe that there's a lot that's going to have to change in affiliate businesses. I think that previously, I think this just massively links back to the volume versus quality. I think that because operators are starting to shift to looking for something different, it means that affiliates are going to have to do the same thing as well. So I do think that it is going to affect what affiliates are doing at the moment. But I think as long as they change their approach and move with what the operators are wanting, then I think in the long term, then it is completely still scalable and economic. I think that there's just going to have to be a shift in the mindset of, and it's even with the change of SEO needing to switch towards PPC or social. And I think as long as affiliates can start doing that shift before it completely changes, then I think that it's completely still scalable.
I would say depending on the market.
Yeah.
For example, because the reason behind it, because you see certain geos, you need an affiliate to have a license. Some licenses are expensive, some licenses aren't expensive at all. So it's depending on the geo you're targeting, and also how much is the operators obviously willing to pay for certain traffic. Because end of the day, as an affiliate, you're burning money to make money. So that is your resource, and that is what fundamentally keeps the engine going. So if you can see that with regulatory changes and the operators are not paying enough, maybe it's a reason why you should rethink which geos to target. Also, I don't see a publisher should target only one geo. They should go widespread as much as possible, because you never know which market might go down, which market go up. So it's always safeguarding your business in having multiple geos that have different regulations.
And that's assuming that regulation and over-regulation isn't just pushing affiliates and operators to grey and black markets.
Exactly.
That's just what I was thinking too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are instances where I think pure white affiliates have to consider going to grey a bit, because they need to, well, maintain certain margins to keep the business going. So it's pushing the operators, and the affiliates have to go with them as well, unfortunately, in these cases.
And there's also a growth on master affiliate networks, right? So those big, expensive, compliance-heavy licenses are also being offloaded onto networks, and part of the appeal for that is, you know, as an affiliate, I can just divert my traffic to a partner who's going to take care of the compliance, going to take care of the licensing, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. 100%.
Fantastic. And now our final and conclusive question. Looking ahead, what is one change you believe the industry needs to make today to create a more transparent, sustainable, and mutually valuable affiliate ecosystem?
Standardization of what needed, who wants what, because we went on high value player, what triggers CPA. If you log in different affiliate programs, they have a different column definition of what triggers a CPA, how it's triggered, which column is considered CPA. There is so much around. I think Joe sees this as well. When we're aggregating data, we have to adjust the language depending on the platform we're running, so we can get the data. So if everyone just uses the same terminology for one action, would make everyone's life easier.
Yeah, and the easiest way to find that out is, if you're an affiliate, just go to any of your account managers and just say, how do you calculate your revenue share? And they'll tell you that it's a percentage of NGR, GGR. Okay, cool. How do we calculate NGRs and GGRs? And a lot of them will have different calculations. They won't be very clear. When I was an affiliate, I think that was probably one of the hardest questions for us to get the answer to. But once you start breaking it down, you find that there is a lot of double dipping and admin fees and deductions that happen as part of that calculation, which you'd be probably quite surprised, where you then start looking at what we call an effective revenue share, as opposed to a revenue share, which is, you know, every X amount of euros that are deposited, what is my, should be 45%, what does that actually look like? And that can come out to be around 12.5% sometimes.
Yeah.
And this behavior is what pushes affiliates to go on fixed agreements, because it's less stress and actual predictable income. That is all to it, right? Again, we go back
Push
to
up pricing. Yeah.
and the mentality is an affiliate to keep maintain the performance, he needs money to burn. So if you can actually give them a prediction of how much they're going to make, it gives them a prediction of how much they can spend. It's just, that's the wheel.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I completely agree. I think that one of the biggest things is that it's just completely on visibility, and it's just exactly like what Joe said. If all affiliates had visibility into how this, for example, like revenue share is being calculated, and if that was all shared, I think the open communication is just so important, because sometimes it's just so much guesswork that you're not necessarily working together. You'll actually end up working against each other because you're guessing something that is completely different. And I think creating those partnerships that are completely open, transparent, this is how we run things, this is how I mean, in an ideal world, everybody would value everything in the same way, and there wouldn't be the different calculations for everything. But for now, and hopefully we might get to that point potentially one day, but if we just had that open communication where the operators go, okay, yeah, this is our platform, this is exactly what these all mean and how they're calculated and what they're measured against, then the affiliate can go, okay, brilliant, like they completely understand, rather than the partnership being completely transactional and affiliate almost being like a traffic vendor rather than somebody that is actually there. They ultimately want to make the most as well. They want to send the most amount of traffic and conversions. So I think having that transparency and the correct partnership and communication is just massively key.
Fantastic. Guys, I want to thank you so much for participating in this, our fourth webinar. Believe me, you've impressed me, and you've impressed me with your knowledge and the answers to the questions. Then I'm sure the audience is impressed as well. From the audience, want to get in touch with anybody, you have their names, you have their LinkedIns, but if you don't manage to find them, just contact me and I'll put you in touch. Thank you so much once again, and see you around.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.